Thank you, Deputy Presiding Officer. I'd like to address the wider issues that are brought up by this report, and I'm grateful to the Cabinet Secretary for also mentioning Lord Phillips' report, because I think it's actually important in the wider context. There are, of course, two areas of civil justice. One is where citizen disagrees with citizen, and the other is where citizen disagrees with the state. Both of those are within the civil jurisdiction, but I'd like to concentrate this afternoon on the issues of citizen versus state, by and large, what we regard as an administrative law. Public servants, we now recognise, and this probably is something that would be extraordinary to those who were looking at the system 100 years ago, now make a vast number of decisions, entitlements to state benefits, including pensions, our tax liabilities, education placements, property valuations, a vast amount of immigration decision-making, of course, and there are very many more. Now, in discussing civil justice, we naturally tend to look at the pathology of the system, the times where it breaks down and people finish up in court arguing with each other. But I would like to argue that we should not forget the preventive medicine, which in the context is about having good systems so that people learn. And Lord Gill does, I think, make some mention of this. Certainly Lord Philip does. We're not here talking, for example, about the way in which the local tax office actually organises its business, but we need to be looking at the way in which it deals with the complaint if the taxpayer's unhappiness goes beyond the natural desire not to part with his hard-earned money. So whilst I congratulate Lord Gill and his staff on the review before us, I would also like to refer to Lord Phillips' tribunal review of June 2009 and point back to Sir Andrew Leggett's 2001 review of UK tribunals. We need to ensure that whatever administrative system we have, it picks up the decided points from its appeals system. So we need to ensure that those who go to tribunals to complain about administrative systems, those who go to those tribunals get their decisions fed back into the administration so the administration learns and doesn't carry on making the same mistake. We also need to ensure that the civil claims that do get to courts, and I think this is especially a matter of personal injury, and one or two have referred to this, that those situations, again, are subject to feedback. I am very well aware, as also been alluded to, that very small claims can have an enormous positive impact on the place of work, and we need to ensure that that system works back. In the same way, we need to worry about accessibility. It should not be necessary, I would suggest, for me to go and find a lawyer in order to work out how to deal with an administrative failure. It is essential, I would suggest, that our citizens have access to that kind of basic information. Equally, there is a small claims process which should ensure that I don't have to go to a lawyer in order to deal with a small claim. Now that exists. I would simply doubt, Presiding Officer, whether the existing limit of £5,000 is actually the right sum. It seems to me that really is too small by some considerable distance. But I noticed that Lord Gill did not suggest that we should change it. Now, to draw those two thoughts together, it seems to me then that we need to reflect on the whole system and ask ourselves what we are asking the tribunal or court to decide. And we should allocate the business on the basis of the model which is appropriate to decide the right thing. Suggest, on the basis of Lord Phillips' comments, that courts are better at determining the law where, by and large, the facts are not in dispute, and it is tribunals who are better at determining the facts and then applying the law which, again, by and large, is not in dispute. Oh, that life were so simple. Of course it isn't. But I would suggest that there is some need to think about the tribunals, the way tribunals interact with what I might describe as the lower end of the courts, in order to ensure that we have a complete system which deals with all the cases in the best possible way. Thank you.